Hey fellow YouTubers, it's iTokyoRob here, and finally I've had some time to sit down and just record for you guys my San Antonio Top 16 Gravekeeper deck. I actually came in 10th place, and my only losses were to Burning Abyss and a Ritual Beast deck. I'll get more into my matches later on, so let's go really quick with the Gravekeeper's profile. Okay, so I ran 1 Gravekeeper Shaman, 3 Gravekeeper's Commandants, 3 Gravekeeper Spy, 3 Gravekeeper's Recruiter, 2 Gravekeeper's Descendant, 1 Gravekeeper's Apostle, 1 Gravekeeper's Assailant, and 1 Gravekeeper's Heretic. That's it for my monster lineup, and now I'll give you my spells. 3 Pot of Duality, 3 Necro, 2 Gravekeeper Stealths, 2 Mass Change Seconds, 1 Book of Moon, and 1 Raigeki. Now for the traps. 1 Solemn Warning, 1 Bottomless Trap Hole, 1 Compulsory Evacuation Device, 1 Ring of Destruction, 1 Vanity's Emptiness, 1 Mirror Force, 1 Rite of Spirit, triple Mind Crush, triple Fiendish Chain. So for my extra deck, I went with a Crazy Box, Master Key Beetle, Ragna Zero, Silent Honor Arknight, Heartland Draco, Sky Blaster Castell, Exoton Knight, Abyss Dweller, Gagaga Gunman, Alchemic Magician, and Leviair the Sea Dragon. I went with 2 Mass Hero Darklaws, obviously, and 2 Cyber End Dragons. As for my side deck, I went with 1 Malefic Cyber End Dragon, 1 Gravekeeper's Heretic, triple MST, double Dark Hole, 1 Dimensional Fissure, 1 Soul Drain, 1 Skill Drain, 1 Eradicator Epidemic Virus, and triple Chain Disappearance. Now, I'll go over a few of my matchups and why I decided to run certain things. So I'll talk about that right now. I ran Gravekeeper Shaman. Honestly, I'll tell you the truth, I don't think there's a need for Gravekeeper Shaman. The only matchup that it's really useful against is against Shaddoll. And honestly, the Shaddoll matchup, they're only running about 8 Shaddolls. Let me see, 3 Beasts, 3 Beasts, 2 Dragons, 2 Squamanta, 2 Hedgehog, maybe 1. So, their Shaddoll lineup is not that big. They focus more on the fusions and less on the milling, which makes their deck more consistent. And their biggest worry is to get rid of the Djinn Lock. So they're not really focusing on popping spell and traps, which made Shaman kinda useless for me the entire tournament. I was siding him out every game 2 and 3. I barely used him, and I think I only summoned him once against Shaddolls. And when I did summon him, it really didn't do much. I dead drew him a couple times, and I feel like he deserves a spot in the side deck, if anything, and honestly I wouldn't even side him in, just because the deck works so great that you just really don't need the Shaman. Unless you're in a format that requires a lot of destruction, Shaman's just not going to do much for you. Or there's every single deck is activating effects in the graveyard. But otherwise it's just really hard. I would just save him until Dark Renewal comes out, which is the card I want the most for this deck. The 3 Gravekeeper's Commandant, some people like to run 2. I think that's a mistake, because your hardest matchup and the best deck of the meta right now is Nekroz. And in order to slow them down to your level, you're going to need that Necro Valley turn 1, turn 2. And if they MST your Necro Valley, Nekroz cannot OTK, which means that you need to have that access to Necro Valley as soon as possible in order to keep slowing them down. Otherwise, they're just going to run over your deck. And there's one important thing about Nekroz you can't forget. Necro Valley negates Trishula's effect. They cannot activate it if Necro Valley is on the field, because Trishula wants to activate all effects at the same time, and because one of the effects targets the graveyard, Necro Valley therefore negates the effect that touches the graveyard, which negates his entire effect. So that is why Necro Valley is so important. I ran 3 Gravekeeper Spy. There's really not much to say about Spy except that he's amazing. I ran 3 Recruiters. Some people went for 2 Recruiters. I think that's also a mistake. You've got a floater, and one of the biggest counters that people are going to try and throw against you is going to be Denko Sekka. And if you got Necro Valley and Gravekeeper's Recruiter, you can crash in with Denko Sekka and also get your free search, which I think is just, plain amazing. If you're running Mass Change, you kind of don't go so negative if you use it on Gravekeeper's Recruiter.
Now to Descendants. Now Descendant was a really interesting card to use at 2. Normally I would use him at 1, but people on
the Facebook group of Zodiac recommended that I should run 2. I hadn't ran 2 in a very long time, and I saw the importance. At one point during one of my duels, I had the opportunity of having 1 Descendant in my hand and a Spy. I flipped Spy, I searched the Descendants, I activated the effective Tribute, they Fiendish Chained me, or they effectively me, or whatever, I can't remember, and I summoned the other Descendant and just popped the card I needed to pop, and just went from there and just, won the game. I won 1 Gravekeeper's Nobleman, or Apostle, however you want to call her. She's unbelievably sexy, that's why I run her. And there's nothing else to say. No, I'm just kidding. No, seriously, Apostle is a great toolbox card. It's good for those moments where your opponent is just focused on attacking and trying to get rid of your life points. And they don't know if you've set a Recruiter, you've set a Descendant, so when they smack into Apostle, you get your Spy, and literally that gives you any free XYZ play for next turn, or you can get a Shaman out. And I just feel like Apostle is a great card, and there's no reason why Gravekeeper should not run her at least at 1. Actually, you shouldn't run her more than 1. 1 is way enough for you to run. And if you don't need her, you can just side her out. 1 Assailant. Assailant was great because you can switch Satellas into attack mode and just pummel through. A lot of cards you can switch into defense mode or into attack mode and just come attacking, crashing right through. Heretic was like the MVP of the regional. A lot of people still like to use traps. It is great when you have Heretic and they set 4 and there's just really nothing they can do to get rid of your monsters. I mean, you make Vanity's Emptiness dead, you make Ring of Destruction dead, Mirror Force dead, Raigeki dead, Bottomless, Compulse, Fiendish Chain. I mean, Heretic is just such a great card. And honestly, I would consider putting him at 2 in the main deck, just because he's so good. Triple Duality, because you just need to toolbox into your deck. Triple Necro Valley. Okay, so the 2 Mass Chain seconds, I think it's a mistake to run it at 2. It might seem like a good idea, but honestly, you can lose the entire game just because you tried to make a Mass Chain second. I mean, if they do Vanities and you try to do Mass Chain second, I mean, you're just going hardcore negative. So I think the card is just good to run at 1, just to have a main deck choice against some of the decks out there. But honestly, 1 is okay, and I was citing these 2 cards out almost every game, so just 1 is fine, and if you don't need it, just side it out. 1 Book of Moon, 1 Raigeki, right, and then we got the Staple Traps. Sorry about that. Rite of Spirit is important because you want to be able to toolbox any of your Gravekeepers in here. If you need your Shaman, you can just special summon it. If you need your Apostle to use it again, you can just special summon it. It makes every Gravekeeper you have a +1. And by +1, I don't mean by your hand. I mean just you run 2 Gravekeeper Shaman, 4 Gravekeepers Commandants, 4 Gravekeeper Spy, 4 Recruiters, 3 Descendants, 2 Apostles. You get the idea. You just make... this is a substitute for any Gravekeeper monster you need at the moment. Triple Mind Crush worked out great. Not much else to say about it. Just, hit those key card plays that they're about to do, and you just stop them. Here we go. Crazy Box. I don't know why I don't see anyone running Crazy Box. You must be crazy not to run Crazy Box. If your opponent has Unicorn on the field, you make a Crazy Box. Why? Because Unicorn negates your effect, which means you can just go ahead and attack. And if you got Necro Valley plus Crazy Box, there is no main deck monster that these guys run that can defeat your Crazy Box. And looking at Patrick Hoban's build, they're not even going to run Decisive Armor, which even makes this card more viable. This is a great card. You guys should be running it. From Gravekeepers, of course. Heartland Draco actually won me one of my games against Nekroz. They could not attack Heartland Draco, and they could not draw into their MSC to get rid of Necro Valley. I mean, it was just stall, stall, stall. They couldn't do anything at all. And I just kept poking for 4,000 damage. Castell is such an amazing card, and you'll see that I'm running Alchemic Magician. I would keep running Alchemic Magician because if I have the opportunity to go into Mass Chain second, set it, or to get a MST due to a grindy game or some sort of weird I have, this is just a really good option for that. I ran 1 Levier the Sea Dragon, never summoned it. I think I won't even run it. It was just a good idea, just in case there was a lot of banishing going on, but honestly, it was just okay. So I wouldn't even run it. 2 Cyber End Dragons. Oof. So many good things about this card. You run this under Skill Drain, under Necro Valley, and this card is just a beat stick. I mean, every game I would side in 2 Malefic Cyber End Dragons, 2 Dark Holes, 1 Heretic, triple MST, Skill Drain, Eradicator, Epidemic Virus. Literally, I would change my entire deck into a Skill Drain Malefic Gravekeeper deck. And the reason for that was, Skill Drain still stuns so much of the map. It's so important that you can actually run this card, and you can stun the meta. I mean, you're running Necro Valley. That stuns most of the meta enough as it is. You add a Skill Drain, and their brain will go on the fritz. I mean, they have 3 MSCs, or just 2 MSCs, to get rid of Necro Valley, and then you flip a Skill Drain on them, and you got a Malefic Cyber End. There's not a lot of things they have that... Sorry about that. There's not a lot of things they have, main deck, to get rid of these guys, or this combo. Heretic works wonderful on the Skill Drain. You summon Heretic with Necro Valley first, you flip a Skill Drain, and then Heretic is unaffected by any other card, and your opponent cannot activate monster effects, and it makes Heretic such a difficult monster to get over. That's why Heretic was such an MVP that day. The 2 Dark Holes were wonderful because the idea against Gravekeepers is we don't really run a lot of high attacking monsters, so they're going to try and overpower me like that. And so Dark Hole just gets rid of the field, reboots the field, and I just get to keep on going with advantage. Or you can just Dark Hole the field, attack directly with my Malefic Cyber End Dragon, because that's also a fun thing to do sometimes. As you can see, I didn't run Macro Cosmos, because I felt that the need for traps, I should be running less traps in the side deck. Mostly because some people are citing Denko Sekka. Actually, not some people, like mostly everyone's citing Denko Sekka and World Decree. So less traps meant less problems for me when I was playing against my opponent. I ran the 1 Eradicator just because if I did face a lot of trap heavy decks, I could just get rid of it, or if I face a lot of spell heavy decks, I could just eradicate it. Chain Disappearance. This is what lost me my game against Burning Abyss. I went for the Dante, and I should have gone for the Skarm to eliminate the Burning Abyss's resources that way, and eliminate their rank 3 plays, because he went into Alucard instead of Dante, and that totally messed up my whole game, and that's pretty much why I lost. But anyways, guys, that is the deck. I did face a Ritual Beast deck, however, I would not count that as a true duel. I think he misplayed against me, and because Ritual Beasts have an effect that they can only be special summoned once per turn, and I'm pretty certain, 98% sure, he special summoned his beasts more than once during the duel, and he, I don't want to say he cheated, but his cards were in German, so I really couldn't focus, and I asked the judge, can their effects be used more than once a turn, and the judge said yes. So, I mean, I would have never figured it out. I was asking the wrong question, and I should have asked about their condition, but I just couldn't remember their condition. I couldn't think about it. And, I'm certain he special summoned, that's why I lost the duel. But either way, I just want you guys to see this deck, because the deck has potential. It stuns a lot of the meta, and it has potential to actually win a regional, which is very, very powerful for a Gravekeeper deck to do during this type of meta, where Nekroz is just the most insane deck of the meta. I mean, there were 17 tops of Nekroz in YCS Chicago, and I mean, that is insane. So that's it, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. And oh yeah, let me tell you my matchups really quick. I played against Shaddoll,
against 2 Yosenju decks, 2 Ritual Beast deck, a Burning Abyss deck, 2 Nekroz decks, and 1 Satellas deck. There were 9 rounds. I may be missing a matchup, but I can't remember right now. But I went undefeated all the way until round 7, and that was when I lost to the winner of the regional, who played Burning Abyss. And that's it, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and subscribe, like, comment. Let's start a discussion going on. I mean, I really think Gravekeepers have potential to do really good, and
I think this might be the deck I'm possibly taking to Nats. So, anyways, guys, peace out. I've been talking for far too long, and keep in touch. See ya.